Continuing on, I've just flipped the camera around. I'm looking at what I have going so far on the cooktop. So you'll see I've got three large cooking vessels here. I've got a steamer, which is typically used for either canning vegetables or for tamales. Then I have a large stainless steel stock pot, and I guess that holds about 5 gallons. I'm not quite sure the exact capacity of that. And then I have another stock pot over here that is that I've got purified water in at the moment. So I've scrubbed this container really well, and then it's filled with reverse osmosis water. And I'll explain what's going to happen with that just in a minute. So what we're going to do, the stainless steel container, the large stock pot right now, has been scrubbed well, has a small amount of reverse osmosis water in the bottom of it, and I'm boiling that to steam the container to get it as sterile as I can on the cooktop. At the same time, in the steamer, we'll open this up and look inside. You'll see that I've got some cloth towels in here, fogging up my camera. Underneath that, I'll burn myself. There's some aluminum foil and a silicone pot holder, just a square pot holder in silicone. What I'm going to do here, we're going to take, once the stainless steel pot is clean, I'm going to take that off the cooktop, pour out that water, and then going to place the stainless steel container inside the aluminum steamer. And so the steamer, we're going to then fill the stock pot with the 4 gallons of 2% milk once it's in this steamer. And then we're going to slowly bring the temperature of that milk up to about 190 degrees Fahrenheit. So the process here is to take milk. We want to kind of somewhat like pasteurize it. We want to raise the milk up to a temperature that doesn't scald it, but actually kills as much as we can if there's any pathogens in that milk. So at about 190 degrees, that's a pretty safe temperature to kill anything that we would be concerned with, anything that might end up growing in the yogurt. Then once we get that milk, that's going to take probably an hour to raise that milk up slowly to that temperature from refrigerator temperature. At that point, we will turn off all the heat. We'll move the stainless steel stock pot full of hot milk over to the sink, and we'll place it into an ice water bath. Then we will very carefully lower the temperature down to 125 degrees or so. And at that point, we'll inoculate it. We'll place our live yogurt culture, which is our Maple Hill grass-fed organic yogurt, right into that warm milk. We'll mix that in very slowly. We'll go through that process. Then we'll place that mixture into, you can see all of my saved yogurt containers over here. We're going to place it into those yogurt containers. Then we'll place all of those yogurt containers, which will pretty much fill, we'll place them down into my little igloo ice chest here. If the lid will stay open, it probably won't. We're going to place all of the containers in here, and then also at the bottom we're going to place our heater. So what we want to do is we're going to maintain the warm culture at about 120 to really 125 degrees for about 8 hours. So we're going to take that warm milk, put it into the cooler. We're going to take this little plant light that I had in all of my boxes and boxes of junk out in the garage. Anyway, take this little plant light. I've got a 40-watt incandescent lamp that I'm using, and we'll turn this light on inside the cooler and leave it with some towels on top for about 8 hours. Come back and we'll have yogurt. As far as the lamp and the heater, this was just kind of what I came up with through experimentation. I started with a 60-watt lamp, and we want to maintain a constant temperature of about 120 to 125 degrees inside the cooler or our incubator for that 8-hour period. So one 60 watt bulb was a little bit too hot. The 40 watt seemed to be a good wattage to maintain the temperatures that we want to hit. One last thing we'll talk about as far as equipment and getting set up before we go to the next step is this last pot of water. So what I'm going to do with this, once we get the milk into get the steamer put together with the stock pot and get the milk all into that, we'll come back over here. We're going to move this over to a burner. We're going to bring this water up to a boil, and then we're going to sterilize everything that will be touching the milk in culture going forward, which means we'll take all of the containers that we'll be pouring yogurt into, all of the utensils, including probably the most important thing here, which is our meat thermometer. I'm just using a meat thermometer. It's accurate enough to do what we need to do today. But we will use this throughout the process to monitor the temperatures, be sure that we're getting the milk up to the right temperature to kill any bacteria or pathogens in the milk, but not to burn the milk because we'll ruin our yogurt then. And then to carefully lower it down to the appropriate temperature for the culture. We've got to get it below. We'll need to be getting that temperature below 130 degrees. At 130 degrees, we start killing off our culture or our bacteria in the yogurt. We don't want to do that. We'll end up with hot, warm, funny tasting milk, not nice, solid yogurt. So I'm not making Greek yogurt today. I'm making just basic conventional yogurt. That's really my favorite. We could go ahead and do a Greek yogurt. I've not done that before, but as far as I understand, the process to do that is to take our finished product and then we use cheesecloth. We place the yogurt within a cheesecloth. I guess really just wrap it up in cheesecloth and kind of let it drain. And what that does is it drips off, lets the rennet drip out of the yogurt, which is the white, clearish liquid you see that is on top of yogurt that's been disturbed. Like if you've opened a container of yogurt and scooped out some, and you come back later, you'll see there's some liquid sitting in there. That's what's extracted out to make the yogurt thicker, like Greek yogurt. Not going to do that today. That's not my preference, but it's easy to do. It's just one additional step. So that's it for now. I'm going to go do a couple steps with handling this hot stuff, getting it set up, and then we'll come back and I'll show the steamer set up and we'll add in the milk. Talk to you soon.